So you're starting yoga for the very first time, and there's going to be a ton of words and terminologies that you really don't know. What are they even talking about? Well, that's what I'm here for. My name's Janessa. I'm here with Yoga International to teach you yoga basics. You're going to start at the top of your mat. So the top of the mat is always the shortest side of the mat. You'll need props with you. I've got 2 blocks, but if you don't have blocks, textbooks work amazing, right? Yellow pages, white pages, you know those books that you don't use anymore? Perfect. So you're gonna step the 2 blocks at the top of the mat and you're gonna step in between, and we are at our very first pose. You're gonna know this pose inside out throughout your entire yoga practice. It's called mountain pose. Mountain pose. Like you're standing at the very top of the mountain. Ever climb a mountain and you're like, oh, I've made it. That's the point of mountain pose. You're gonna ground down through your feet. You're gonna soften up your knees. You're gonna take a deep inhale. And you're gonna exhale and arrive. And just check out the vista. Check out the view. The very next pose is an upward salute. Bring your palms of your hands together at the center of your chest, and then raise your hands up towards the ceiling or the sky, in case you're on top of that mountain. Reaching up as high as you can. You don't have to overstrain. Breathing in. Exhale, breathing out. Lower your hands right back to your side. You're back to mountain pose. The next pose we're going to do is a forward fold. That's why our blocks are here. So you're going to hinge at the hips, softly bend the knees, and lower your hands to the top of your blocks. So the blocks can set up like such. If you have textbooks, you can just stack the textbooks or white pages on top of one another. Bring the floor closer to you. I'm keeping the knees bent because my hamstrings, as a beginner, they're a little tender. And then you're going to lower your head down towards the floor, looking at the space between your feet. And you're going to exhale deeply and see how far you can just find a gentle stretch. Maybe if you don't have blocks, you place your hands on top of your shins, and then you activate the front of your thighs, just kind of squeezing the front of your thighs, and see if you can lengthen even more so. The next pose is a half forward fold. We're basically going to lift our torso away from our thighs. Again, if you have tight hamstrings, you'll bend the knees slightly, come up to the top of your textbooks or blocks, or maybe even the top of your thighs if that's good for you too. Either option's fine. The idea of this pose is that your tailbone goes away from your head. So you're stretching out your spine. And then you're going to exhale, release, return back to a forward fold. You're going to drop the right knee back behind you. And if your knees are kind of tender, you need a blanket, feel free to do so. If you don't have a blanket, but you have your mat, fold your mat in half. Real easy. Press your hands on top of your thighs. Inhale, lift the hands up towards the ceiling, just like we did before in our upward salute. Inhale. Exhale. Lower the hands down to the floor. Unfold your mat. Step the left foot behind you. You're going to lower your chest between your hands. It's probably going to be the most complex we're going to get today. Bending at the elbows, chest lowers down to the floor, lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Rest your chin down to the mat. So now we're going to push back into my favorite pose, child's pose. Untuck your toes, sit your hips back as far as you can towards your heels, and stretch your hands as far forward. Now you want to make a little bit more space for your rib cage. Just take your knees out to the side. And see if you can drop your torso in between your thighs, resting your elbows down to the ground. Maybe you want a deeper stretch. See if you can get your forehead down towards the floor. Take an inhale and an exhale. So maybe you feel like a cramp about to happen. Tuck your toes under, which will lift your heels and get your bum closer towards your heels that way. So you don't have to feel like, you know what, there's too much happening in my ankles. And you can just stretch out from here. I like to also keep my elbows down, stack 2 fists, and lower my head as such. This is perfectly fine and cozy. All right, so we're gonna get right back up. Place your hands back onto the mat. Pull your knees in towards one another, and now step your right foot between your hands. Lift both hands up towards the ceiling for that same upward salute. Maybe the palms of the hands touch one another again. Lower the hands to that right thigh. Push through the right heel and step all the way back up. Look at you. We're right back where we started. Mountain pose. All right. So, yoga basics you got down. Check me out on the next video. Like and subscribe now to stay in tune with what's coming up next. See you on the other side play.